votes AK, 2 votes Tara. Person voted out from Australian Survivor.
Nah, fuck this, I'm out of here. Get that fire exit door, I'm off.
Nah, fuck this, I'm out of here. Get that fire exit door, I'm off.
However, I've come in to Summertown and I wanted to know what that ultimate reward was. That doesn't sound like someone who's very loyal to Secrets of Summertown.
I'm sorry, but when I watched that the first time, I was literally, I could not move. I was sitting in the lounge room like, I can't process this. Hello everyone, welcome back to Australian Survivor Week 6 recap, and I was going to say rankings, but we're not really doing that today, but I'll get to that in a second. But if I had to explain these two last episodes in a phrase, I would say Total Drama Island. So this week for me at uni, I had about 5 assessments, so I was a mess. I didn't do anything except for uni, so I hadn't really prepared a video like I usually do. So I'm doing this super late, and as a result, I don't really have time to edit in rankings. But the merge is happening this week anyway, so if I had rankings, that would be redundant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a recap, and then I might list a couple of people who I think are at the top come the merge and people who are at the bottom or who might be booted before the merge. So earlier today I went into Template and I was watching key points of the episode, and just a quick note, that website is atrocious. Like when you're trying to watch something halfway through the episode and you don't have ad blocker on, it'll just play like 6 ads in a row and they're all like 30 seconds long, and you're just sitting there like, I just want to watch 3 minutes of the episode and I'm getting 3 minutes of ads. So I went through the episodes and I wrote down a few key points for the recap. So Sunday night, let's go from the beginning. So as I said in the last video, I wasn't sure if Ziggy was coming back after no hours of sleep, and that kept me up all week. I was like, is Ziggy going to get enough sleep? Like, wow. So the episode opened with Ziggy laying on some kind of porch nonsense thing, gazebo looking shit, and she was on top of like a couple of blankets, and she was saying this is the best sleep I've had, and she had a couple of blankets. I'm like, same. I sleep on the ground with 2 blankets, same. So Ziggy came up with this really good plan that she was going to come back and say that she had this like advantage thing where she had to give someone else an advantage, but she can't say who she's giving it to, she can't say when she's doing it, and she can't say what it's about. So essentially she came up with a way to make sure that people don't ask her questions about what she was doing the night before, which I thought was really smart. But as usual, you know, AK the skeptic was like, something's wrong here. What is Ziggy playing at? So now I'm going to enter full rant mode for like, I don't know, however long. But so they get to that reward challenge, and before the reward challenge, Jonathan's like, okay, drop your buffs. And I'm like, shit, like what's going to happen here? And then AK and Peter get swapped to Asanga, and Annalise and Michelle get swapped to Samatau. And as soon as AK went to Asanga, I was like, this is it. That shit made me so annoyed. Like, Peter and AK were in a position of power and they got sent to Asanga, and they're like 100% on the bottom. And then if you compare that to Tara and Annalise, they got voted out and they went to the other tribe and they had to work their way up from the bottom. Rightfully so, they wouldn't usually be there. So they had to fight from the bottom to make their way into that tribe, whereas Peter and AK came into Asanga after Tara and Annalise had said all these things about Samatau, so they're already at a disadvantage, and then another disadvantage because they've had all this stuff said about them. And as soon as AK had to walk to that Asanga mat, you could just tell that he was like, oh shit, this is gonna mess my game up. But in true fighter style, he said, what did he say? I wrote it down. He was like, fight your ass off to stay in the game. And he did try. He was trying to like get that alliance going with Sarah. He tried heaps of stuff, but he couldn't get it in the end. AK shouldn't have gone. You know, he was in a really powerful position, and then I guess he got unlucky, came into a shit situation, screwed up by that previous double vote out tribe swap nonsense, and it's not really his fault that that happened. He just kind of got unlucky. But then, you know, on Facebook everyone's saying, oh, I hate Tara because of this. Like, no, I don't hate Tara. I don't hate anyone. She did the best with what she was given. She came across the tribes. She didn't ask to be resurrected onto Asanga. It just sort of happened, and she's done the best that she could with that situation. And she voted out the person who voted her out. So from her perspective, she's doing well. Okay, so 2 key things that I low-key noticed in that episode. Real recognizes real. So AK was like, okay, let's try and get an alliance with Sarah. And Sarah was like, yep, sign me up. And I thought, okay, this could go really good or really bad. Like, imagine those 2 in the merge. Like, whoa. So then when it came to tribal council, Sarah voted for Peter, which I thought was interesting because She told AK that she wanted to go far with him, but then he kind of got the vibe that she was going to go back to the original A Song of Vote and vote him out. But then she voted for Peter. And the reason that I don't know if this is right, it's probably not, but I think the reason was that if Odette, Peter and AK voted for Tara, and Tara, Jericho and Luke voted for AK, then that's the 3-3 split. So Sarah has the deciding vote, but she voted for Peter, so it would go to a re-vote, and then she could see who voted for who in the original vote. I don't know, that feels like 2011 me reading into Inception too much. I don't know if that's actually what happened. And then on Monday night, can we just rename Mondays to Michelle Days? Like, honestly. So for Monday's episode, I've written down that the episode should be called I've Got an Idol, because that seemed to be like the main message that came out of that episode. Everyone was just telling everyone that they have an idol. You know, you've got Annalise, Henry and Ziggy all together, and they all have idols, and all of them know that each other has an idol. Like, what? Samatau, the concentration of idols in that sample space is crazy. So then you kind of get that alliance of Ziggy, Lockie and Henry as like that powerful strong person alliance, and then Annalise gets in there as well through being friends with Lockie. So then in that alliance there's 3 idols, like they are confirmed merged. Like, that's crazy. So during that episode they were really setting it up that it was going to be Michelle or Ben, and you really got the impression that it was going to be Michelle, because obviously she had just come over in that tribe swap thing, and Ben had a couple more days to talk to the people in Samatau and gain some kind of relationship. And then in Tribal Council, oh my god, like when Michelle said, she was like, that doesn't sound like someone who's very loyal to Samatau's secrets. I was like, Michelle, where have you been? Michelle in that Tribal Council was a masterclass in social play in Survivor. Like, you know how like Hans Zimmer and Christina Aguilera do those masterclasses where they teach you something? Like, I would pay and I would subscribe to Michelle's masterclass about social play. Like, that was insane. So essentially what she did, she was taking what Ben said and used it against him. So she wasn't making anything up. Nothing that she said really was a lie, unless it was stuff about a song of voting for people in Samatau. But most of the things that she said were facts and things that Ben said in Tribal Council. Like that thing about telling people what they want to hear, and she was like, is that what you're doing now? Because I know you want to vote out Lockie, because Lockie had that, you know, that paranoia like plot curve happening in that episode, so she really worked on that, and that saved her. And look, I'm all aboard the Michelle train. And then I was all like, yes, oh, loved it. Everyone's going to love that. It's going to be all positive things happening on Facebook. So I go to the Facebook page for Australian Survivor, and there's all these people saying, vote out Michelle. Oh, vote out Michelle because she's annoying. Vote out Michelle because she talks too much. Like, are you watching the same show as me? Oh, Michelle doesn't deserve to be there because she's not trustworthy. Do you understand what Survivor is? Like, outwit, outplay, outlast. Like, she's outwitting the shit out of Ben in that Tribal Council, and you're not living for that? Like, what? She goes on about Ben not being loyal and spilling secrets, then she just goes and spills everything he said to her. Hypocrite. Oh my god, like, I think that's the last one because my anger levels are through the roof, but I really like the reply. That's the point of the game. Do whatever you can to make it to the end. Duh. So I was thinking I could introduce like a Player of the Week award every episode. So obviously Michelle is the Player of the Week for this week, but I think there's also like a low-key Player of the Week happening, and that's Annalise. If you think about it, Peter and AK swapped to the other tribe. Her and Michelle went to Samatau again, back to the tribe that voted her out the first time. And yet somehow she's in a position where she's not being targeted. It was Ben and Michelle. So she kind of like worked that Samatau alliance back to get her in a position. And she has an idol. Like, she's almost at the merge. And being someone like Annalise or Sarah in the merge is perfect because all the attention's being on people like Lockie, Henry and Ziggy. Because like they're all going to be like, oh, we need to get out these really strong people, and Annalise is going to be there until a long time, calling it now. Just a quick note about Ben. Like, you could see in that episode that he's actually a really nice person, and I felt really bad for him because there was literally nothing he could do in that situation. Michelle just absolutely steamrolled him. Like, there was nothing that he could have said that she wouldn't be able to manipulate. Maybe if he had said that, you know, he was testing her by telling her that stuff, and now she's like told everyone, and that's a good reason why they should vote her out. But at the same time, that would look really weak in comparison to what she's saying. So I guess in a sense, he just kind of got outplayed. Oh my god, that's one of the things. Outwit, outplay, at last. Damn, Michelle. So now I thought I would quickly go through who I think are the top people and the bottom people heading into a merge situation or pre-merge. We'll start with the bottom, and I'm going to try and do this in one take because I don't want to deal with editing it later. So at the bottom, I think, Adesanya, Peter is in obviously a shit position, but they really kind of got that vibe of Sarah taking Peter and starting to flip on Luke. And based on the ads for the coming episodes, I think that's something that might happen pre-merge, depending if Asanga goes to Tribal Council or not. I think that would be really cool because it really shows that Sarah is a power player and it keeps Peter in it, who's like a solid number for Sarah in like doing all these power plays. And then over at Samatau, I think it's kind of tough now, but still obviously the obvious vote is Michelle. And then she said at the end of the last episode that she was gunning for Henry. And I was like, Michelle, that is a big target. But imagine if she pulls that off. Imagine if she votes out Henry and he has an idol and he doesn't play it and he goes. Like, that would be insane. That would be 2 crazy weeks in a row for her. Okay, let's go to a tribal merge situation now. You have the people who are very strong. You have your Lockies, you have your Henry, you have your Ziggy. I think they would immediately get a target on their backs. So they'll be really trying really hard in those individual immunities. And also Henry and Ziggy have immunity idols. That's an ideal situation for them. But I think the real power players that will come out of the merge will be Sarah, Jared, Annalise, and maybe Peter, depending if he can get through. And obviously Tessa, because Tessa's she's untouchable at the moment. Who's going to vote her out? So since it's going to 3 episodes a week now, there's going to be a whole lot more content for me to cover in these videos. So I'm just trying to work out how I'm going to structure them from now on. But that's for me to work out and for you guys to watch. I definitely think that I'm going to be doing some kind of videos for the US season 35. If that's a recap, a weekly recap, or if it's power rankings, I'm yet to find out. But that's it. So this is a shorter video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like if you liked it. Leave a like if you like my jacket. Look what it's doing in the light. Suede-ette, fashion icon, honestly. Leave me a comment who you think are going to be the power players come the merge, because this is merge week, guys. This is merge week. Get hype. And as always, if you're not subscribed already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Heaps of exciting things coming this channel's way. But yes, enjoy this week. Enjoy the 3 hours of Survivor coming your way on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And I will see you next week. Bye.
Nah, fuck this. I'm out of here. Get that fire exit door. I'm off.